Hi, my name is Scott McIndoo, and my business is called Cedar Hill Instruments. I make solid wood drums and guitars here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm in the studio that I share with my wife, Laura McIndoo, who is a ceramic artist, and her company is called Redwood Pottery. This is the first snare drum that I built about 7 or 8 years ago when my son started drumming. All we had at the time was a small electronic kit, and it just didn't really feel right, like it was a real instrument. So I started looking into how to build instruments, and that's where it all began. So my drums are made using the stave technique. This drum, I think, is made with 24 pieces of walnut that are joined up kind of like a barrel. And then I machine the shell round on the inside and the outside. The finish on this drum is a few different things. It's got some oil to bring out the natural colors in the grain, and a little shellac to seal that in, and then lacquer. Here's another walnut instrument. This is a new guitar model that I'm working on. The name of the model is the Anders model. It can be built with a variety of different pickups and electronic formats. This guitar will have a single volume knob and two-tone knobs. And I'm excited to share that with you when it's done. So if you want to share the progress or look at the progress of this instrument as it's being built, you can look me up on Instagram at Cedar Hill Instruments. This is the neck for this guitar, and this is made out of bird's eye maple with walnut dots and walnut binding. And it has a walnut headstock veneer made out of the same wood that I use to make the top and the back of the guitar. When I make instruments, I focus on using the wood according to the qualities of the wood. I also focus on making my instruments as light as they can be if that's what is called for. For instance, this snare drum is machined on the inside so that the shell is left thick on the top and bottom, and it's brought down to a little bit less than a 1/4 inch in the center part of the shell. Makes the instrument very resonant. But because it has an extra thickness on the top and bottom, it has stability when you're tuning it. This guitar is what's called a semi-hollow or a chambered guitar. So I start with a 2-piece block of walnut, and then on this particular instrument I glued a thin piece of this material onto the back. This is solid walnut. And then I had a matching piece for the top, and that piece is about 3/16 inches thick. So it's a very lightweight body, and it has open chambers all the way around the outside, and then it has 2 center blocks down the side and a block right here for the bridge and for the tremolo system to attach to. So what I would like to do with my instruments is offer players something that cannot be found at a music shop, something completely custom. I also have a lot of instruments available that are spec instruments. Here is one that I recently finished. This is the Duloc model. This instrument is made out of Sitka spruce on the top, and western red cedar is the rest of the body, and it's finished using a few different finishes, but the color comes from a very simple paint called milk paint. It's bound in celluloid acetate lacquer, it's bound in celluloid tortoiseshell binding. It's a very simple type of plastic that's been around for a very long time. The accent woods are kingwood. So it has handmade kingwood knobs, a kingwood fretboard, a kingwood end block, some other details like this pickup ring, and the neck is made out of 1/4 sawn walnut. So this is a very lightweight guitar. It weighs about 5.5 pounds. It has some boutique pickups in it. These are made by McNally in Canada. This is a strat wound neck pickup, and this is a mini humbucker in the bridge, and they sound really great together. Some other details on this instrument are the handmade tailpiece. the handmade bridge, and the handmade bridge plate. So there's a lot in this guitar that is very personal to me. I try to make as much as I can on the instruments that I'm building rather than buying parts, because I like my instruments to be unique and to be an expression of what I prefer to do as a builder. Well, that's about all the time I have right now. Again, if you're interested in finding more pictures and progress stories, you can look me up on Instagram. I also have a Facebook page called Cedar Hill Instruments with a lot of older projects there. One final thing I would like to mention is if you are in the Albuquerque area, I do guitar and drum technical services like setups, head changes, tuning. I redo edges on drums, and I do a lot of work rewiring guitars and modifying them. So please give me a call and we can set something up.